Okay, looks like maybe I'm live. Okay, looks like I am live according to the U of Tubes. Alright, sometimes it's a little bit tricky to figure out whether the heck things are actually working. Hello, Monkey Boy. How's it going, man? I was going to be on earlier, but the capture computer decided it wasn't going to work. Bad stick of RAM, as it turned out. It's funny how you let things sit for 3 months, 2 months, and something just breaks. I just got this off of Newegg for $59, and they must be unloading their entire batch at that price. So I thought I would go in on the deal while they are that price, because I figure, yeah, what time they sell out, they will probably be a lot more than that. So this motherboard I'm running has been known to fry processors, so hopefully I have that fixed. With the BIOS update so far, I have tried 4 processors, heavily overclocked, and I have yet to fry one of them. But this motherboard was known to fry processors, so I figure if it fries this 8350, which it's already done one like 3 years ago, 2 years ago when it was brand new, I figure it's no big deal. I can send it into AMD just like I did that last one and get a free repair or replacement process or whatever. Okay. Looks like everything's working. I hope this doesn't crash. I fixed the replaced the RAM, so it's funny because I was testing it and it worked, and then I went to open the web browser, and that's when things went crashy, and I knew right then I got bad RAM. Well, I didn't know quite then. I did some stress tests and it didn't crash. After 2 hours of dicking with it, I did a memory test and it failed like that. First test. So anyway, this is the FX-8350. I've got a GTX295 on this, which is a dual. I was hoping that would work. Yeah, I've got 2 webcams going here. Shoot. GTX295, which is a dual GPU video card. It's DirectX 10, but it actually does really good. I've got a water cooler on it right now, 16 gig of RAM. This is a 970 chip, so I thought it was a 990, but I guess it's a 970 as it turned out. I've got a second 285, so I'm going to be SLIing those at some point. Wouldn't mind finding a second 295, having quad GPU. That would be kind of cool. But I'm going to compare this to the 3870X2 that I have, and the 9800 GX2, which is also a dual GPU card. Hey, look at that! The shortcut worked this time. Ooh, look at that! I can switch back and forth just like that. Cool. One thing that won't run on this card is Dirt Rally, but I guess that requires DirectX 11. I think it was Dirt Rally. Road Redemption runs. I'm pretty sure I was playing out in here last night. Dee-dee-dee. Dee-dee-dee. Okay. Stupid Steam crap. So the monitor I normally use for the capture computer I'm using for this because it's a 1080 monitor, and my big ViewSonic I'm using for the video capture, so I had to switch cables around. That was a lot of fun. For some reason this capture card, this is the first time I've used it with HDMI input, digital to HDMI, the DVI to HDMI, but for some reason it looks like it looks interlaced for some reason. I don't understand that, why it does, but I was messing with that earlier and then the whole system crashed, so. See, it's weird. I don't understand why it's doing that. And I got the wrong keyboard. There's another one over here. Oh, there he is. Dag. I go for the face shots. It's the best. Should be like those when you're playing this tournament, sit here and just like do this just because, you know, I can. Always run out of ammo. Always. You see a 1080p here, we're doing 120, 140, 150 with a not very recent graphics card. Shows how good this card really is. Really? Hiding in there. Capture card in a minute here. Nope. One of my favorite guns here, the Tech 9, gets the job done. Just like that. things I hate about this game is I can never find people to kill. It affects the score. I can't find anybody to kill. Well. Headshot. Ah! Okay. I've got 20 megabit upload. Can I change the settings on the fly? Let me see what it looks like on the YouTube side here real quick. Come on, stream, catch up. I just got over a, well, still getting over cold. Let me see here. Let me kick the bit rate down, because I found that to be a problem last time I streamed this. As it was when I tried to do a higher bit rate, more than like 4,000, it was really slow, and I don't know why. It still looks kind of slow. That might be the capture card. So it looks kind of sluggish on the screen too. Doing that. I couldn't figure that out earlier. I've got a USB 3.0 capture device. It's 1080p, 60 FPS, but I don't think this motherboard has a USB 3 on it. It's a 42, 45. I get the right keyboard. Smoother or not. What do I look like if I flail my hand? The webcam side looks smooth, because that'll tell me if it's the capture card or not. It's the capture card to me. There's so much of a delay. how much of a spread there is on some of these guns. That's why I like this gun. It's like where you point it is where the bullet is going. Somehow I'm still in the lead on the score. That's after screwing around, not playing for the last 5 minutes. I'll mess with the capture card when I'm done with this round, which is 59 seconds. I might have to kick it into the I hate to run less than 1080p though for this, but yeah, I know. Damn it. I was running out of ammo. Ooh, I got my favorite gun. Let's turn the random weapon off. It doesn't matter anyway. I got 2 seconds.
Terrorists win.
That doesn't look right. It's really weird. And maybe I shouldn't have pushed my luck on trying to stream tonight since I already had problems. Damn hardware. The CPU's not being taxed. It's about 60%. If it was 100%, then I'd say, well, I've got a problem with the bottleneck with the CPU not being able to keep up here, but that shouldn't be the case at 60. What about color space? Does that make a difference? Try that other capture card I've got sometime. It had to hurt. It just had to hurt. Seems like it's really hard to find a good capture card. I don't know. Seems like AMD is about the only one that makes them, and every one of them I've tried has always had some kind of a weird quirk to them. I know StarTech makes them, but High Treason's had a problem with those too. I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't really just the same card rebranded. But I got a USB 3.0 one so I could capture Ryzen without with my laptop, because it's got 3.0. It's i7 laptop, and I figured that might work pretty good, but I don't know, this motherboard doesn't have 3.0 on this, and I've had problems with the 3.0 cards, the PCIe cards. They never seem to be very fast, not like what they should be. Oh, come on. Aiming right at his freaking head, it's like went right through. Really? This game, I swear games cheat. Yeah. Ooh, I'm not in the lead this game. I'm gonna have to take care of that, I think, here. Let's get serious for a minute here. See, I can never find anybody to kill. Shit. Okay. Need to move this mouse because it is in the way. Okay. I like to come around the corner, pop them in the face like that. Tell you what, this Cooler Master liquid cooler at 120 something or another, the FX definitely gets it blowing some hot air. And I've actually got this chip undervolted a little bit too. I suppose the VSync might be causing a weird thing here with this. I don't know. This is literally the first time I've tried 1080p capture with this card. Normally I'm 720p at most. Well, 1280 by 1024, I guess that's kind of sort of 1080p or close to it, but haven't really ventured beyond that. You know, the 295 really isn't that bad. I mean, it's blowing some warm air right now, but you know, I can touch the back of this card and it's just mildly warm. So it's interesting, this card is the identical size, lengthwise, height, and all that stuff, to my 980, EVGA 980. It's identical in size, exactly. I find that kind of curious, being a dual GPU card, that it has the same exact footprint as the, I guess, pretty much any other card, performance card. They're all about the same size nowadays, but Okay, who's shooting at me? Who's shooting at me? Oh, that was him. You know, these headphones, they were like 17 bucks. They're really nice. I'm really impressed. The microphone sounds good. The headset itself is like a pillow over your ears, and speakers sound really good too. Nice. I got the orange LED just for Ryzen. You know. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have some lighted headset for streaming. I got something else too I'll put on in a minute just for streaming purposes. Paint that van. Paint that van. Oh. It's just camping, you know? It's like, come on, guys. That face shot in there. You like that? It's interesting, this 295, I was originally testing on this motherboard the one of the Phenom 2s, and I unlocked it. This motherboard has core unlock and dual core and tri-core. I couldn't get the fourth core. It would just crash with the fourth core no matter how much voltage I threw it at. But I may do a video on that chip. I may do a live stream. I haven't decided yet. But it didn't blow as much because it didn't stress the card as much. The frame rate was probably half to 2/3 of what it's doing right now with that chip. I finally got my Phenom 2 X-4965 in. I'm gonna do a comparison between that chip and this. I'm gonna knock this down to 4 cores, so it's a nice even comparison. The way these FXs are made, they're not necessarily, they don't have as much IPC as the Phenom 2 did, which is interesting. I'm gonna see if that's actually true. That's what I've heard, and that's what's generally accepted. I'm gonna see if that's actually true. I'm curious. The Phenom 2 X-8350 chip, that line, a 900 line, has 6 meg of L3 cache, which is not too shabby. It's a pretty healthy amount of L3 cache. And I don't know if it'll make much of a difference, but just curiosity more than anything. I actually got that before I saw these were only $59 from Newegg. It's like, what the... I have an FX-6100 too, so that would be, I could knock that down to quad core. We'll get both FX series as a try. Wouldn't mind having the 99, whatever it is, 9750, 9950, whatever it is, that 5 gigahertz chip that's 220 watt. I'd like to see if this motherboard will, that processor would blow this motherboard up. Okay, come on. Exit. Thank you. Astralis. Yeah. See, I watch those tournaments and I find them fun to watch, but I'm like, I'm a go in and just kill everything I see kind of a person. The whole idea of a teammate staying with your guys and then, you know, sneaking around the corner to see who's there and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't have the patience for that. I just want to go in, you know, guns blazing. Which usually works for me. I don't know. I usually do a higher score than that. I'm usually Ryzen. I'm in the 700s. This system, I'm about 400s, 450s. I got to do a big cough here. Just a second. Thank God for a kill switch on the mic. I don't want to be coughing in your ears, guys. That's just not polite. It's not Christian. Oh. This level we're not getting as good a frame rate here. I'm also going to compare this to the Ryzen, since they're both 8-core chips. I know that one has hyper-threading, but I did a Cinebench on this last night. Actually, I'm probably going to show that. I might go ahead and show that after this, but because I got my Ryzen score, the best Ryzen score I got, which is actually higher than a lot of people on YouTube with big channels got. Because I got like 1905, and I got that by actually lowering the speed of the RAM a little bit. Because I couldn't get it to quite run at past 4,000. So I ended up finding that I got a better Cinebench score running at 3333 than faster. So it's kind of like there's a sweet point. So I just left it there. I don't know, that's what I'm finding out here. I mean, it's dual GPU. This level is... We're getting lower frame rates. This is only about half of what they we're getting on the last level, which is interesting. But, I mean, it's playable frame rate. I mean, if you got I mean, we're basically above 60 FPS, so, you know, unless you've got a 120 or 144 hertz monitor, you know, you're going to be limited to 60 FPS anyway if you're doing, whether it's VSync or not. You're only going to see 60 FPS, so... Now, what was the game I ran on this last night? I think it was Redemption Road, which is Road Rash. If you ever, you know, Sega Genesis Road Rash, that's what that game is, Redemption Road or whatever it's called. I was only getting about 30 FPS, which surprised me, since this game does more than that, but... Well, it's amazing how long AMD kept manufacturing the FX-83, well, 8100 and 8350, but they hung onto that processor for way longer than they should have. But Ryzen, I like Cinebench. It seems to be a very good benchmark to determine processor speed, overall processor performance, kind of like SpeedSys for DOS, or top. What's that one? That top. This mouse is a little laggy here. Can't think of what that would. Top bench. But this chip at 4.2, which is what I've got locked to run it right now, scores about 1/3 of what Ryzen does. The same clock speed. I actually sold the Vega 64 because I just wasn't happy with it. The performance wasn't there, I thought, for the money, and damn teammate got in front of me. And deciding to shut down whenever it felt like it got annoying. Could never. Funny thing is, that shutdown problem, when I decided to sell, now I removed that card 2 or 3 times from the system since I built that system. The last time, well, the time before the last time, because the last time it was to take photos of it for eBay. The time before that, I removed the heatsink, did new thermal compound, even though it didn't need it. I had read someone was having the same problem. The guy read it, and it was because it was an uneven application of thermal compound. Well, that's why I took mine off to see if that was the case, and it wasn't. But since I had taken it off, I put Cryonaut on it, and still had the same problem. So I ended up putting my 980 back in there as a test. I swapped the power supply too. I knew it wasn't the power supply, although that did kind of get me there because it was like 4 days and I had no problem putting my old Kingwin back in there. So I was like, boy, and then all of a sudden, boom. Just when I thought it was fixed, like every time before I thought it was fixed, boom, it went. So I was like, okay. So I put my stand still. I need, let's just do this, you know? I'm just... so I put my 980 in there, and I had no problem whatsoever. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So, and I wish I had written down benchmarks of Vega 64. I didn't. I can only tell you that the frame rate in this game at 2K got up to the mid 250s, and that was with its turbo boost of 1620 some odd megahertz. That Gigabyte WindForce OC card did. So I'm like, okay, well, I put that 980 in there, I gave it a test, and I didn't have any problems with it, worked just fine. I started overclocking that card, which I really hadn't done before, and I ended up topped out to about 250 megahertz overclock, and 200 to 225 overclock on the GPU. I was actually equal or faster than Ryzen or Vega 64. In this game, that card overclocked pulls 270, almost 280 FPS at the high level at 2K. So I was like, and I was looking at the other games, and it was the same thing in other games. They were equal or faster than Vega 64. Plus, I hated the driver, that Wattman thing that AMD has for their cards is horrible. So I was like, this is not what I read and saw on, you know, the high-end YouTube channels about this card. So I sold it. The guy's happy with it. I'm happy that I sold it, because the longer I waited to sell that card, the less it would be worth. So I got out of that. So I was running the 980 in it for probably about a month after that, and then I just happened to be looking because I needed another modern card to test with, like what I'm doing right here. I'm going to put the 980 in this at some point after this too. But I wanted a modern card to do testing, so I went looking for the RX 580s. Let's just see what the price was, because I knew those are basically the level of a 980, at least what I read on GPU Boss. and I found the Red Devil 8 gig. The guy was selling a brand new one. He pulled it out of his system that he just bought. He was only asking 110 bucks for it, and I said, buy now. Buy now, because I had seen those 8 gig cards for at least 150, 160 bucks used. I said, buy now. So I've got that in the system. I haven't had a problem with it. 0 problems. It is overclocked, which I can get about 1420 out of it. That's all I can get. JH2Cents got 1450 out of his at SOB. But that card performs at that speed basically identical to the 980 at default speed. So it's a little bit behind. It's a little bit behind 980, but it's basically on par. So, and plus I like the Red Devil is lit on the side of it. I think that's pretty cool. Which disappointed me about the Vega 64, that a $500 video card, they couldn't be bothered to put a little LED across there to light up Vega 64. I'm like, really? Come on. I know that's kind of silly, but you know, after you have that, it's kind of like, that's kind of cool, and it's an expensive card. It should kind of have something flashy like that, but I don't know. So anyway, I saw that because I sold that because I wanted to get out of it before AMD released their new generation of GPUs. So, because I figured people would be unloading their Vega 64s, and of course the price would drop, and yada yada. So, then I saw that the new generation apparently isn't a very good card, but the new GPU is really not very good. It's not what was expected. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I might just stick with NVIDIA. But I'm thinking because these RX 580s can be had for like $100 or just a little bit over $100, the 8 gig version, I might get a second one of those and crossfire them, because I am also curious about crossfiring those to see what modern crossfire is like, and that might actually be a pretty decent combination for $200. But I wouldn't think about doing that new, because then you're talking about like $350, and I would rather have a 1660 Ti, honestly, because that looks like it's a pretty boss card for the money. But yeah, premium card ship, premium features. Yeah, for that kind of price, I was like, this is kind of like cheating out a little bit, you know. It's kind of weird. I mean the 980, when I got that card, it was a $500 card, and you know, that would be kind of a premium card, I would think. It's the same price point. You think it would have the same features, but yeah, that's kind of what the impression I got too with the Radeon 7. It doesn't seem like anybody cares about that card. Yeah, you look at the reviewers when they got their hand on the card, they're like, you know, this actually kind of sucks. It's not what we thought it would be with the die shrink, which it never seems to be. The die shrink never seems to be what you expect it to be. Just seeing this stuff after all these years, it always seems like it's more of a disappointment than meaningful. But anyway, then the 1660 came out, and that's all anybody can talk about. Even the 2080 people aren't really all that thrilled about. So, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. These video cards don't really. There doesn't seem to be a. I'm not paying attention to what I'm shooting at here. There doesn't seem to be a huge leap in performance from generation to generation. It's like in the old days, you go from TNT2 Ultra to a GeForce 256, and it was a doubling of performance. But I don't know, the 1080, 980, and 2080, that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know. See, I wouldn't buy an RX 590. It doesn't, what I saw, there's no benefit to it over the 580. And since the 580s are so cheap, secondhand, I don't see any reason to, because they run just as hot. They don't really perform any faster, even though they're a smaller die. They might consume a little bit less power, but well, it's certainly true of Ryzen. When I look at the CPU utilization on Ryzen, on these games like this one, it's just tickling the processor. I mean, we're talking about 16%, maybe 20 once in a while, and that's, you know, lower clock speed because it's, you know, adjusting clock speed per load. So, but the GPU is 99%. Hate that gun. My nose is itching. I need to turn random on because I'm tired of these weapons. I need something better. Game, give me something better, please. Pop! Ooh. Oh, come on. Oh, see, I waited. I was just going to get him just right in the face. There we go. There's some good guns. Well, sort of. Boom! Yeah. You know, what surprised me is how much the RX 390 is going for on eBay. That shocked me. Not to mention the, what's this, 7990? I think. Now, I understand it's a dual GPU card, but my God. Those are crazy expensive. And I'm like, this is an old card. That R9 Fury, too. Although that goes for less than the 390, but yeah, DirectX 10's kind of a is an issue with this card. But there's still quite a few games that have DirectX 10 support, but they are going to DirectX 11 and 12 exclusively, so. Okay, this gun I can use. I like this gun. Let's turn the auto weapon off, so we'll keep this for a while. looking at chat. Yeah, that's what it looks like, is interlacing. I have no idea why. I have no idea why it's tearing the edges like that. It's digital in, it's HDMI. I have no idea. It's not like that on my monitor. Although, I don't know if this is the reason, but I am running this off of the second output on the video card. So it's like dual monitor, but I've got it, what do they call it, mirroring the display or whatever. So I wonder if that's it. I don't know why. I wonder if that's causing the problem.
Very good shot.
I don't have a, I do have an HDMI splitter, but I don't have a DVI splitter. Half-Life 1 loading. I didn't realize the Intel Extreme Masters CSGO tournament was like an all-year thing. I only just started watching it like last summer, so I thought it was like a summer thing. But then I see these guys start up a new tournament, like, I don't know, January, February, something like that. It was fairly recently. I was like, wow, this is like golf or something. It's like an all-year thing. It's like football or something. I don't know. You know, I was on my messing around with my Callisto Pentium 2 system over here a couple weeks ago, and I have Quake 3 on there, and I just was going to see how it ran on there. Not very good, but I headshot right there. I decided just for shits and giggles to try to see if there's any live multiplayer games going on. There's a ton of Quake 3 multiplayer servers that are full of people, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny to start killing people with a Pentium 2? You know? Like, these people are probably all running like i7s and shit like that. They're emulating Windows, or I don't know what they're doing. I was like, coming in here with vintage era correct hardware. Well, actually, that's probably a little older for Quake 3, but you know, you get the idea. So I'm gonna live stream that. Now that I know that that still is a thing, I haven't checked that for years. So I'm gonna check Unreal Tournament too. All of the iterations of Unreal Tournament, because I think that would be a blast to do a live stream on. Ooh, right in the face. I mean, that's just gotta hurt. You know, back of the head's fun too, but man, right in the middle, just But they come back, so it's not like a, you know, not like I'm promoting killing people here. I don't think that. This is all fake. They come back. No one ever really dies, you know. On-site servers. The bedroom levels. I used to play those. Oh, I remember those bedroom levels where you were like really small, and like all the furniture was like really big, and you jump around. And some of them had like Mudvayne playing and Slipknot. I remember people, this music sucks. It's like, no, it doesn't. But when it's on repeat for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, yeah, it kind of gets old, but... Custom servers, yeah. That was the good old days of... What the heck? This guy just like running around and not killing anybody. Yeah. Metallica? Mm-hmm. Yep. There's all kinds of different types of music in there. Some of those. I usually found like the server that had the map that I liked, and then I would play that for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I'd find something else. But there's usually a handful of maps that I preferred that I could do pretty good on. I'm kind of the same with this game too, but it. I'm gonna give Rainbow Six a try. I saw some. I saw a tournament a couple weeks ago of that, and a little bit of different type of a game dynamic, but I'm always looking for FPSs, so good FPSs. There's not too many of them nowadays, but I will give Rainbow Six a try. I think I bought it. They had it on sale, I think. They had it on sale that weekend too, funny enough. Like the weekend before, they had the Dirt Rally 4 and then Dirt Rally on sale for like $20 for the pair. So I was like, okay, I'll buy that, because I was looking at getting that game, and they wanted $40 a piece. When I was looking at it, it's like, no, that's no. When it was $20, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. $20 is a good price. $10 a game. That's all right.
You got him.
So I got my steering wheel working on Windows 10 with the game adapter to USB adapter that I bought. $25, not cheap, but neither are steering wheels. So that was a lot cheaper than a good new steering wheel. So it's like, well, we'll give that a try. It had the little switch for gamepad and joystick and steering wheel, and it was on steering wheel out of the box, so I didn't have to do anything. I just plugged it in and it worked, and had to take the steering wheel apart and the pedals. This is from like 1997, and I had to do some contact cleaner on the potentiometers in there, so they weren't picking up the movements smoothly. But I did that, and American Truck Simulator is very fun with a steering wheel. I wish I could get GTA 5 to work with that, but I couldn't do that. It wouldn't recognize that, unfortunately. It's only made for either keyboard or gamepad. It's not made for a steering wheel, but... Jigging each other's pieces. Yeah. That's kind of what it was like. It was a little bit like Toy Story. You know, you're... Well, there's other movies too that had little figures like that came to life, but Toy Story just was the first thing that came to my mind. It's kind of like that. You run around and they climb up on stuff. Yeah, I've never really been one to camp and snipe. I've done it. Unreal Tournament, I used to do it just to troll people. Occasionally, I'd get up on a big pipe somewhere, really way high up, trying to get into a spot where most people came running through, and tried to get into a place where people couldn't really see me easily, and pop as they'd run by. But I'm more of a find him and kill him kind of a player, and that's why I probably wouldn't be a good team player on those Intel Extreme Masters, because I'd be like, teammates, just get out of my way and let me do my thing. Well, people did that to me too. That's where I learned that. Getting headshot just out of running by, pop. I was like, okay, I can be addicted to this. Yeah. They taught me that fun little trick. Damn it! Should make a. Someone should write a song called "I'm Always Out of Ammo." It's High Treason's new song. He needs to work on. I'm always out of ammo. He can get his keyboard going there. That was my complaint with Doom 3 too. Always out of ammo. I'm always out of ammo. Paint the wall with his blood. I'm always out of ammo. Seems like force feedback stuff in general is kind of lacking. When I was looking at like force feedback steering wheels, which mine does not have, but I wouldn't mind that. But you know, it's like newer steering wheels, for example, that have force feedback are usually above $100, like well above $100. If you want something that has pedals and is fairly decent, you know. Although there is a Chinese seller that's got one for like $40. I don't think it has pedals though. But it has to have pedals for me. I just have one or the other. I choose pedals over vibration. Yeah, I'm with you, Kyle. Unreal Tournament deserves to be brought back. You know, it used to be that Unreal Tournament was sort of like they bring the game out because they're bringing the engine out that everyone used this last go around. They're like, well, they've got a little snippet of Unreal Tournament there, but it's not the same thing. A real Unreal Tournament game would be nice, like we used to have. Fortnite. Fortnite's a fad. I saw people playing Fortnite, and I didn't really think it was anything. Oh no. I didn't think it was anything. It looked more complicated than I care for a first-person shooter to be. I don't even know if it's a first-person shooter, but it's almost like they took this and combined it with Minecraft in the building sense, you know. This guy trying to pick me off from a distance here. Really? Where did he go? Really? Oh, damn it. Yeah. Give it another year. Everybody will be like, Fort what? Fort Hood? Fort what? Come on. It kind of reminds me of the craze, the fad craze that Minecraft had for 2 or 3 years, and then I think Fortnite kind of has that, but other than that, it's not not something that paint that wall. It's not something that I don't know. But it does get a lot of views on YouTube, so maybe that's why there's a lot of people that play it. Of course, my Finger family has a lot of views too. I like the random music, piano playing. It's kind of a neat effect. There's a lucky shot. I've had a couple brief moments where I thought I might like to try Minecraft, but kind of like some of the stuff people have built. I think that's kind of a neat aspect. People have these servers and they'll build cloud cities or conveyor belts, or there's one video I saw someone built a train, but it didn't really work, but they were looking for somebody to figure out how to make it work. But I've seen people build the Death Star, Star Trek ships. That's kind of neat. But I feel like it would take too much time to figure out, and I somehow I'm in the lead of the score. I don't feel like I'm doing good, but yeah, we'll have that gun. Novelty, yeah. So I'm not sure in 20 years people will still be playing Minecraft. I don't know. I was surprised to see people still playing Quake 3 multiplayer. That really surprised me. I wasn't sure anybody even knew what Quake 3 was anymore. But I think they need to bring Quake tournament. Quake 3 tournament, they need to bring back a new Quake tournament. I think that was kind of my disappointment with Quake 4, was that it wasn't like any of the other Quake series, which were basically an FPS. And the new Doom is beautiful, but definitely showcases what modern video cards can do. But there's no substance to it. There's no story. There's no, I don't know. And I saw something, I didn't watch it, but I saw a video. The title of the video said something about the problems with Doom and the production. And I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. The way the game is, it's just, it's sort of, really, it's just, there's just nothing to it. But visually, it's top-notch. It's absolutely fantastic how beautiful that game is. Showcases what the modern modern cards can do.
Nice shot, my friend.
I would be curious to know what age group are playing Quake 3. I really would. I can't believe that there's that many people of our age that would be playing it nowadays. But I mean, there were several servers on there, and they were full. I was genuinely surprised. I thought maybe there'd be, you know, there might be a big server list, but there'd be like maybe 2 or 3 that had maybe 10 people in them, you know. I was rather surprised. I wish people were still using Kali 95, because that still works. I still have mine and my code, which still works, and there's still tons of servers there, but nobody's there. Well, actually, it is weird. There are people there, but they don't say anything. It's like when I went on a few years ago, I went on the AOL chat room. There was people, there were names, but nobody said anything. It was really odd. It's like, maybe they're bots. Maybe they're fake people. I don't know. There is some kind of a Quake thing I saw on Steam, but I don't know if they're actually really doing anything with it or not. Yeah, there's always these stuff about, they bring out this stuff about, oh, we've got this alpha release, or, you know, they talk about there's going to be a release, and then it just never happens. And it's kind of like Descent. You know, I bought Descent on Steam like 3 years, I think it was 2015. I bought that game, and then because I wanted to see what the Descent studio guys were doing, because I thought, well, this is really cool, brand new Descent game that's you know, that's more like the original DOS game than, you know, bringing back all that the old ships and robots and multiplayer and stuff like that. I thought this was really cool, so I bought that game because I wanted to support their project. And like a year later, they haven't updated the game, nothing's going on, and then they pull the project from Steam. And then I checked the, I can't remember, I think I got an email. Here's my favorite gun. I got an email from them, and it said, oh, well, we've got new partners or something like that, and we are working on the game, and everybody that bought the what do they call it, I don't know, what do they call it on Steam, pre-release, bought into that. You'll get your final copy when we release it. And I was like, okay. They had some pictures and some screenshots, and they had, you know, whatever. I was like, well, how are you guys going to do that when you pull it off of Steam? They're like, oh, well, the people that pre-purchased it on Steam, we'll send you a link when it's ready, and you can download it. And that was supposed to be, they said January, I think. I want to do a different map. I still haven't seen it, and I'm looking on Steam to see if they had updated their page on Steam. No. So I think Quake was a similar thing. It was like there was like this pre-release thing, and you could I don't know if you could buy into it or not, but I don't want to play something else. But I was like, yeah, Dirt Rally will not run on this, and I'm assuming it's because it needs DirectX 11 or something. This is only a 10 card, so. Crap, that stream's still going. Yeah, early access, that's what's called, yeah. Well, I kind of thought, I'd never done that before. So I kind of thought early access on Steam, because, you know, Steam's kind of a big thing, that it would be more guaranteed, I guess. there'd be kind of a protection, is that the right word? Against, you know, fraud or whatever. Free copy of Defy Gravity. Enter me my Steam key. That looks like kind of an interesting little... for free. Maybe I'll have to do that later. Ear's kind of hurting. It's weird since this doesn't touch my ear. Let's just do classic. First time I played this game, I was like, "Oh man, that is so brutal." This is just like the way Road Rash was. It was so awesome in that sense. Brutal. Yeah. Get out of there. Woo! The machete is pretty brutal too. Oh! Off with his head. Ooh. Oh, off with the head. Woo! Brutal, I tell you. Should have went up there. Ooh, get out of that crowd. Woo! Change the off the head. Did I lose my pipe? Nope, I got it. Big old pipe to club somebody. Oh! Of course, you have to do that in order to recharge your nitro. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Come on, come on. Oh. Now we're in first place. Getting all up in my grill here. Actually, I'm surprised I'm still in first, but that's all right. Must have clubbed enough of them back there to. Oh! Come on, mouse.
heard a weird beep. I don't see why. I heard a weird beep though. Weird. Must have been in the music. This is the level where crap falls out of the sky. Cars, I guess. Ah! This is weird. Oh, shit. Come on. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't flip out on that sign, but... Oh, get off of me, cop. But you know, I'm only running at like 24, 25 frames per second, and that's plenty playable. Some games are like that. Some games they feel fine even on low frame rate. In other games, I've played at like 70, 80, 100, and they feel jittery. It's odd. But I feel no lag in the controls. I mean, this is a new game. This is like maybe 2 years ago it was released. This old card is it's doing it. Getting the job done. Oh, somebody with it. Has to be somebody over here. There's always somebody around. Okay, Tom. You wanna get some? that car. Wee, doggy. Oh, that was brutal. That had to hurt. Here we go again. Well, can't stay on that bridge, so we'll just get off of that bridge because we're almost done anyway. Damn it, damn it, damn it, get back on the road. Okay, well, gotta do that so I can get a boost too. There we go. Wasn't much of a boost. Fuck. Shit. Yeah, Road Redemption, this is like Road Rash. This is like the modern Road Rash from Sega Genesis, baby. It's a cheap game. It doesn't cost much. You're not going to finish. Watch, this music will get me a copyright flag. That's the way this game, this YouTube world is nowadays. Probably won't do very good on this level either. Even on Ryzen, I had to play these levels a few times because it was like, damn. Oh, brutal. Oh. Come on. Alright. Tow trucks. It's kind of neat though that because this is bought off Steam, that I played this game on Ryzen, but it remembered my place where I was at and the scores and all that stuff, so I downloaded it to this system. here. Ooh. These guys you can't get rid of. This little shield thing. You hit them and it doesn't do any good. He fucking tased me! You! I'm gonna get my machete out, damn it. Do something good. That motherfucker. Behead. Off with his head. Off with his head. Damn it. You know... Damn it. Perfect timing to try that. Go right into the side of a house. Ah! Come on. Come on. There we go. There it is. Really, truck? Come on. Woo! Damn it. Oh, I screwed that up. I'm out of boost. Out of boost. Shit. This is a tough level. This is a toughie. Because of all this crazy crap going on. Can't avoid without running into it, something like that. Yeah. 10th place. Hey. Let's try this one. Minute and 30. It must have been pretty quick when I did it. Really? Come on. I need to cough again. I don't know what's been going around, but there's a lot of people all over the country who've been sick. Some kind of a flu. Sick, been down about 3 weeks now. I mean, I'm not like down, but I've got a cough for the last week. Crap that just kind of comes up in the lungs. Are up on the side of the cliff there. It's kind of interesting. Really? Bye-bye, baby! That was a close call there. Damn it. Right before the frickin' finish. Blow our load here. There we go. Shit. Some of the names they come up with, these computer characters, always struck me as funny. Bug brain. What if this will run Doom? since I have that on here. I have to download that? Oh, shit. It definitely will not take 2 hours, I can guarantee you that. Probably 10 minutes, maybe. Put that on my external hard, my terabyte there. I don't know why it wants to download that, because I have the link. Something is vibrating. Tell you what, this Ryzen, not Ryzen, FX does get that cooler warm. Hey, look at that, I'm live. Shit. That's funny. You go to your own YouTube and it first thing it tells you is, hey, you're live. I saw B Bishop had a live stream tonight. I didn't watch it because somebody else was live streaming, but I'll have to watch it. Oh, there's I like this guy. He this guy has his rents. I don't know if he has his own or rents or what, but it's some kind of observatory. It's like he's looking at craters on the moon or something like that right now. Oh, I'll leave it on that. I'll have to ask next if I catch B Bishop live. I'll have to ask him if he's watching that Curiosity Incorporated guy. He's got a he's kind of like an American picker, but from Canada. But he bought a hoarder's house. He's been rebuilding. It's like a 100-year-old house. I was kind of like, hey, you know, B Bishop has an old house he's been fixing. Kind of an interesting timing there of the two. I don't know what that vibration is. That's kind of an odd. Is that the fan on the? Oh, I know what. Well, actually, that might be my fan in the capture machine. I wonder if that fell down. One thing I need to do. Yeah, that is hot, hot, hot. That might be why my performance dropped a little bit. I noticed the frame rate was a little lower. Where is the fan that I had on that? Doggone it. What did I do with that fan? I guess I could use this fan. That's not the fan I had on it, but I need to plug this in somewhere here. Hope this isn't too loud. But, ooh, that's terribly loud. Where's that other fan? Oh, here it is. Here's that fan. Ooh, where's my camera? Ooh, here we go. Okay. I had this laying down here. I don't know. It probably won't run, but I'm gonna do the 9800, the 980 in here, so I'm gonna put it on here anyway. Underwater hamster utopia. Sounds like something High Treason would do, except to be an underwater rat. I saw High Treason had some babies, some baby Mises. So it'll be Misettes? I don't know. But he posted that on his message board. I haven't been on there for about a month. I haven't had really anything to post on there. Plus I've been sick, so I didn't really care. But I looked on there the other night and I saw he had some baby Mises. Hampshire. That's interesting. People come up with some of the weirdest stuff on YouTube, and I think it's just to get views. I don't understand some of the purpose for a lot of it, but and I kind of get the tiny home stuff, but I find that kind of fascinating, just to see how people are coming up with ways to store electricity and stuff like that. But let's see what's World of Warships. This is a fairly popular game, I notice. A lot of people play World of Warships. Railway Empire. You know, I will say the thing I do like about Steam is that when I buy a game, I can install it on any computer I have. The fact that they got rid of support for XP and Vista pisses me off. So, but that means I'm going to have to upgrade my Vista machine to 7 if I want to play any of my Steam games on that. I don't know if I do. I don't know if I have any Steam games that would run on that. Let's see, Steam. One of my fans must have fell down in there. I bet I know which one it is too. I had a fan kind of propped up in that case, and it must have fallen down because something is vibrating in there, and I bet you it's that dang fan. I've got more than that in my Steam. That's installed. Yeah, Descent Underground. This is the game that yeah, okay, 2016. I thought it was 2015. 2016. Yeah, unless early access. That's what I did. And this was the last update from, was that October? It's just like, really, guys? Hamster Utopia. I don't know what the point of that would be. He must have a thing for hamsters, I'm guessing. Why not guinea pigs? I don't know. Yeah, we're downloading at 19 megabytes a second. That's I like that. And I'm streaming. See, the wonders of modern internet. God, can you imagine if we had internet like this back in 1996? Even 1999. Instead, we had AOL. I don't even remember playing this game. There's Tomb Raider. Yeah, that's the one I have on my. Or is it? 114 minutes. I guess I think that's the one I have on my X2. The with that, yeah. That's this Tomb Raider here. That's what that is. Thought I bought the Ryzen. I didn't install it. I need to install that. Assetto Corsa. It's a little bit like what's that other game I play? Oh, we got it sitting right here. GTR2. It's a little bit like this, a little bit more modern version of this, but GTR2. I still think, you know, for being a game from, what is this? 2006. It's copyright. I thought it was earlier than that. Anyway, 2006. It still looks really pretty modern. I mean, pretty good. I would say modern, but it's held up all right. Microsoft Windows 2000 XP Home Pro. 1.8 gigahertz Intel Pentium 4 or 100% compatible.
That's kind of funny. It's funny they don't want to say or AMD equivalent. No, they want to say 100% compatible, as if there was. Well, I guess to say PowerPC, but that was Mac, so this is a Windows game. So no, there would have only been AMD. That's just kind of funny. Yeah, I haven't looked into I haven't actually gone into the sequel yet. I bought this Car Mechanic 2018. I think it was like $5. It's a little cheesy, but yeah, as you can see, I've only played for 12 minutes. It's pretty cheesy, but I wonder if this sent for this should run on here. This will download pretty quick. D drive, okay. Yeah, I agree to sell my soul to the devil. I suppose. I mean, the fact that I have a Steam account, I guess I've already done that, but you know. Oh, I forgot. This is like really cheesy, but it was like $7, and I thought, live stream. They light up and they flash like that. They're party glasses. They're at Walmart. I don't know why they sell them at Walmart, but they do. So here we go. Now I've got all kinds of light things on my head, so I'm in the 21st century, right? Yeah, I think these headphones are pretty cool, actually. These glasses make a buzzing when the light comes on. It's kind of weird. Synthwave Dream 85. This is an interesting game. It's a very simple game, but I kind of like it. I like the 80s kind of a flashy thing. It's very 80s. Very, very 80s. $60 gig. Holy shit. Well, I think I'm gonna pause that. That's gonna take too long. I don't have the patience for that. This is 4 gig. This will take nothing. The big reason I bought this game is because it's cross-platform, so I could run it on my Linux box right back there. I like cross-platform games. Yeah, there we go. Newts. So you guys have any recommendations on modern games like the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years that you would recommend my trying? That are on Steam. There's a lot of junk on Steam. Yeah, Rainbow Six is there. Yeah. Kingdom Come Deliverance. I've never heard of that. Let's
Which keyboard? Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, it said it was coming up empty on that other search. That's pretty stupid. Story-driven open-world RPG. Open world. Oh yeah, it's like World of Warcraft. Yeah. I really wish they would update World of Warcraft. God. I might have to try Overwatch. I think I might do that, but I mean, why can't World of Warcraft look like this? You know, I don't understand why they're so lazy at Blizzard. God. Stop releasing expansion packs and update the game for like reals, dude. Guys, dudettes. That's why they're losing subscribers, you know. It's like, well, it's getting a little long in the tooth. Kind of looks good. Of course, this is just the trailer. So it's mostly positive. So it's been out for a year, looks like. Kingdom Come Deliverance. I guess I could turn the audio. This says gameplay.
We're in Bohemia in the year 1403, where you find yourself in the role of Henry, the son of a village blacksmith, who is in the service of a local lord, Sir Radzig.
Let's see, that looks fine on the game capture card.
A life that will be shaped by your choices.
That's interesting.
Right now,
that's
Henry
weird
is
that
trying to deal with
CSGO look like crap. This looks fine. Playing a video. I wonder if it is the insanely high frame rate above the 30 FPS this capture card can do.
Rushing into a skirmish against overwhelming odds rarely ends well.
I haven't done anything to their settings. There isn't anything to change.
There are no sights in archery. Your accuracy is determined only
This kind of reminds me of Thief a little bit.
Archery skill level.
Thief and well, Tomb Raider's got a little bit of that too.
There are 6 strike zones in combat, 5 around the sides and 1 in the middle. You can slash or stab. And at a higher level, you can also chain attacks into combinations. Defense is the best form of attack.
Really?
Both strikes and blocks drain stamina, so it's wise to dodge blows. Or, better again, perform perfect blocks. Blocking right at the moment your opponent starts to strike. This saves stamina and allows you to riposte immediately. Treating wounds isn't easy unless you're well prepared.
Oh no, this looks really complicated
Bleeding
here.
won't stop by itself, and if you don't bandage a bleeding wound, you may bleed out and die. A bandage will staunch the bleed.
Oh, alcohol?
If you've
Really?
acquired good alchemy skill and you've collected the right herbs, you can brew remedies to heal yourself, as well as
Make your own
useful
moonshine.
potions.
Woo! To give this a
Some
try.
can carry more
Although
weight,
I don't
while
want to pay
others are
$50
less
for it.
skittish
Though.
and or various types of horseshoes. When riding, you can give your mount on whichever way you want to go.
A lot of these videos for these games
The
never
open
have
world of
actual
Kingdom Come
gameplay. They're just like
Deliverance
a
spans
trailer
16
and that's
square
it.
kilometers. All the locations are modeled exactly.
So this is
according to
this is
historical
nice that they did
plans
an
and the
actual
preserved
gameplay
remnants of medieval settlements.
for the game. I like the water
Whether
effect. That's really
townhouses,
nice. Now
cottages,
this might be a game that would really
farm
benefit
buildings,
from the ray
or
tracing
castles.
stuff. because of all the water effects there. It's really pretty. That actually looks, that mud looks pretty real. They did a good job on that.
The citizens of these locations live their own lives, regardless of the player, although they may ask for your help.
Water! Good Christians, don't leave me to die. Thank you. Thank you, 100.
It reminds me of
Everyone
Thief, though.
works,
It
whether
really
laborer,
does.
Cook, peasant, monk,
Monk.
scribe.
They did a
Go
they did
to
a
the
really
tavern.
good job of
But
the
the evening is also the time when
the,
thieves and other
face
unsavory
modeling.
characters
They did-
come
they did a
crawling
good
out
job
of
with
the
that.
woodwork. And if that's the kind of company you enjoy, you can join them too. Drunks are easy prey for pickpocketing.
See, here's
like this
Thief right
merchant.
here.
Naturally, merchants don't carry. Now you have the merchant's key. It will be easier to burgle his.
I don't want to download Doom. That's what's sucking down the internet. Ready to play. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'll take a look at that game if it comes on sale. It looks good though. It looks like it would be worth a purchase. Yeah, I know. You guys never want to update it. Come on, really? Shouldn't have taken that long. God. That's weird. It knows I'm running Fraps. It says DirectX 11. I wonder if it will run with 10. Maybe not. This is what Dirt Rally did. It just opens and then it never goes beyond that point. I guess I could turn Fraps off. Maybe that's causing a problem. But it probably has to be a DirectX 11 card. My guess is. Posted January 20. We're preparing for liftoff. Would you like to? I'd like to see them actually get this out. Is missing. No cooked. Should be do not cook the content for the build. What? And I get missing cooked data for. That's gotta be just because it's not DirectX 11. That's an odd. Weird. Well, I could throw the 980 in here on this. Maybe we'll do that. What is it doing? It's got. I hate Windows 10. I just hate. There's a lot of things I love. I do like about Windows 10. But there's a lot of things I hate. Like this. Spinny circle with nothing to tell me why it is a spinny circle. Oh, now it went away. Look at that. I'm going to throw the 980 in here and continue, because this is actually a working pretty good. EVGA 980. Woo. Get the right mouse here. Oh, now my switcher isn't working. Frickin' there we go. frickin' OBS. I'd imagine the driver that I have on here probably works with the 980. See, these cards are, it was just something I noticed because I had them stacked side by side. They're identical in length. It's kind of interesting that fact, given the one has 2 GPUs on it. See the 2 right there in the middle, nestled comfortably next to each other. But yeah, I mean, this card it's really not that hot. I have to say Vega got hotter than that. I was actually surprised how cool, relatively speaking, that card runs. Especially being dual GPU. I've got this thumb drive in here so it keeps the card centered somewhat. Okay. This is my King One 1200 watt that I had in oh shit. Okay, this has 1 DVI out, and I'm going to need that for my monitor, so I can use, I'll have to use an HDMI cable for the capture, which I just happen to have in the drawer right behind me. I know that because I was looking for my DVI to HDMI cable earlier. Okay, which way does this go? I saw that they're announcing a new USB 4.0 spec that won't actually be usable for another 2 years, and I got a chuckle out of that. But shut up, computer. Okay. Okay, where's... Okay, where's the magical pen at here? What pin was that? WTF. Power is that one. That's not good. What the heck? Pull this back out. It's interesting. It's not good. Guess that doesn't surprise me though. The naming is even worse. I didn't realize they changed the naming so much. They got like, what is it, like 3.1 Gen 1, 2, 2x2. Yeah. I'm like, WTF. Who thought that was a good idea? I don't know. Well, I hate to say it, but this motherboard doesn't want to turn on now. That's hilarious. Doesn't surprise me since this motherboard has been known to kill processors, but that's interesting that it was working flawlessly. It shut it off and now it doesn't turn on. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I do have another motherboard, so it's not really a big deal, but I hate to do that because then I have to reset it, but then I guess I don't really have too much in there anyway. That I don't think I have anything customized anyway, so yeah, I probably can do that without a big deal. That's really weird. It won't turn on now. I thought maybe it was, for some reason, thought maybe it was the video card. That's why I pulled the video card out, but it won't turn on. This may be the end of the live stream if I can't get this motherboard turn on again, which this really surprises me. Work perfectly fine. Shut it down. And it says, fuck you. Okay. Newson. has that dual BIOS, which the motherboard doesn't want to turn on. That doesn't mean a whole lot. Oh, speaking of BIOSes, my computer behind me, there we go. That computer, I put a i5-3570K in it. I had the 3770S in it, but I couldn't overclock that, so I bought a 3570K, and still couldn't overclock. I was like, what in the world? 'Cause I couldn't go above 38 multiplier. And I looked up on Google, and other people had the same problem, interestingly enough, with this particular motherboard. But it's like, what in the heck? And there are some other features that wouldn't, like the turbo, even though I would disable it, it would still be working. And I thought that was odd. It was like the BIOS settings, and I didn't really notice that early on. I've had this board for 2 years, bought it used. The guy said it didn't work. I did a CMOS reset like I'm doing with this, and it worked. So I never pursued anything further on it till I couldn't get this chip to work. So I'm like, something is really odd. The other odd thing about the board is only 2 RAM slots at a time would work, and I couldn't ever get 4 to work. It only would ever work with 2 slots, no matter which 2 were in there. I thought that was really odd, and I'm like, okay, so I've got some weird problems with this motherboard, and I've tried to flash it before with the beta BIOS that ASRock had on their website, and it always said couldn't find the file on what I put on the thumb drive. You know, these thumb drives, you update them. It's the only way they allowed you to update it was through their instant update, whatever they called it. So I'm like, well, I can't update the BIOS. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. And the other thing that was always odd about this board was that it has the little LED counter on it for the postcodes, and that always displayed 00 until it booted, then it would just go out. And I just thought that was like some kind of a bug or something that ASRock just never fixed or whatever with the board. So anyway, I ended up finding a way to flash the BIOS. I figured out looking in well, the screen on the BIOS actually, that it was an AMI BIOS. So I was like, well, I know AMI has a utility, so I went looking to see, yeah, they had the AFU for Windows 64-bit, so I downloaded that because I'm running Linux. I tried to run Windows 7 in the virtual machine, but I couldn't flash the BIOS there. So I plugged up this this SSD that I'm running on this Windows 10, plugged it into that, flashed the BIOS, and it came up and said that the BIOS code, the BIOS wasn't the right BIOS. And I was like, I know it is because there's only one BIOS available for this motherboard. There aren't several different revisions. It's just Extreme 3 Gen 3. That's all they had. They didn't have revision or anything. So I'm like, well, so I disabled the BIOS version check or whatever it was, and then I flashed the boot block and all the other stuff. And lo and behold, that fixed it. So I don't know what was done to the BIOS on this motherboard. Bad update, something got corrupted, I don't know. But my post counter works now like it should. I can put any multiplier up to like 55 or 60 or something like that. That works now. I've got more options in the BIOS now than I had before. Somehow that BIOS got corrupted. That guy corrupted the BIOS or something, I don't know. But hey, that fixed it. That fixed it, just turned on. Okay, cool. It must Windows 10 Power. That's a way I have discovered some of these new laptops. You have to fix these new laptops. For whatever reason, the power management gets screwed up in the BIOS, and pulling the battery, the main battery, not CMOS, but the main battery. These are those laptops that have the battery internal, and it's like a little cable, and you gotta tear the whole damn thing apart just to get this little battery stick out of there with the little cable. You unplug that. I can tell you how many laptops I fixed that would not power on by pulling that cable for a couple minutes, plugging it back in, and voila, it worked just fine. So there must be, I always figured it's something with Windows 10's power management BS, and I guess that's what happened here. It's nice that fixed it though. So I need to flip. The monkey flips the switch, pushes some metal things, and we have life once again. There we go. I gotta go into the BIOS real quick here. Okay, this plugged in. And we'll just load optimized and then boot. Okay. Now I had it set to lock the speed to 4.2. I forgot to change. I forgot I had that setting. I got to install this. Let it install the driver first, and then the AverMedia signal should kick on. Should show the desktop here once it gets that. Driver. I don't have a mouse because I don't have the mouse plugged in. That's why. That would make sense. It's like, you know, the computer won't turn on because I don't have the power plugged in. Well, it needs power, right? Yeah. Okay, so is it going to install it? It doesn't say it is. I hate Windows 10. I really do. It sees it. GTX295 in the device manager. So 1900 by 1200. There we go. Keep my Shiola. Multiple displays. It didn't detect another display. BS. It's plugged in. It says in the BIOS and our device manager 980, but it says in the advanced display settings Microsoft Basic. So I am going to have to download. I should already have that on the server though. I'm gonna have to manually install it because it doesn't look to me like Windows 10, which is the greatest operating system ever, according to Microsoft. When you go to their homepage, the greatest Windows ever is not auto-installing the driver, which normally does, although I think I have the Windows updates turned off, so that's probably why. The other thing I noticed too is my Activate Windows Now is gone, which I thought I had that activated on here. Oh, no, I got a ding, 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 ding. Yep, look at that. It just did it and didn't tell me it was doing it. Way to go, Windows, for once again not informing the user as to what the WTF is going on. It just did it. There we go. Fuck. I just want some kind of feedback, and this looks really delayed on the capture side here. This looks kind of strange. It's like on a 5-second delay. Well, not quite that bad, but it's really odd. That should be practically instant. Okay. knows it's an Avra Media. Huh. That's interesting. Let me plug that back in real quick here. Don't know if this will make a difference or not, but we'll see if it does. The capture side is really delayed. I don't see why it should be. It wasn't earlier. And it still is. That's weird. It's really weird. I don't know why. It's kind of blurry too. Okay, do we have two different resolutions going on here? That average is 30 refresh rate of 30. Nah, that's really odd. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've never looked in here before, so no, I don't want to apply that. Click create custom. Well, that's grayed out, so good going, NVIDIA. Job well done. Let's take a look in here, see what we've got. Duplicate, that's what I want. That should be fine. I don't know. It says 60 hertz there. That's what it should be. It says 30 hertz. Why? That's weird. I wonder if that's why it looks interlaced, because it's for some reason. I can't change that though. Not that I can see in OBS. It looks blurrier on here for some reason. Maybe it's just my resolution. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can. There we go. Let me see if I can reset this Ever Media. Activate. Did that fix that helped? That helped. Okay. Now that's much better now. It's still kind of blurry though. I don't know. Maybe it's just because my screen is shrunk that it looks blurry. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about that because that's just wasting time, and I don't want to do that. The card is only capable of doing 30 FPS at 1080p. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I would be doing 60 if it would have let me. But that could be. But I think that's why it looks interlaced. Because when I move things, there's like little lines that show up, and that must be why. I don't know. Anyway, now this should work. See if it gives us that same error. I don't know. I've never run this card at 1080p, so this is my first experience with HDMI. This high of resolution. with this card, with this Media. It's a Dark Crystal 2 or something like that. So, I don't know. I kind of hate to run at 720p, but I don't know. Yeah, it's really odd. Sometimes it's worse than others. Yes, I think so, because well, I haven't ever run this card above 1280 by 1024. Normally I run the 4x3, so but this is the first time I've tried going above that. OS is running in window mode. It's kind of interesting. And seeing the game here, it doesn't really look. See those lines? I don't know. The lines were very much there when I was playing CS:GO earlier.
Prepare for descent.
Okay, let's just skip that. I think this particular early access version's almost got like a little demo thing. Let's see here. WSAD, that's good. Meet the ships. Just want to do training. Actually, no, I should have.
Good morning. I'm Iris. Let's get started. Your vehicle is designed to operate in space, so it can move in any direction. It will hover in place if not moving. Different ships move and turn at different speeds. Let's start with turning. Turn your ship left and right to look at the two-lit panels.
You know, I want to play with the keyboard. Just like the original Descent, I don't like the mouse thing there. It's, I may regret that, but no, I just want to resume. There we go. Okay. Okay, I gotta turn, I gotta tilt backwards. To pitch, then I want to reverse those. Why didn't it catch? Told it. Did it hold that? Yes, it did. So
good. Your ship can move freely forward and backward. Move your ship forward a little. This door is locked. I will unlock it in a moment. Back away from the door.
why is it British? Why is she British? Yeah, Microsoft default voice. Cortana.
That's it. Okay, turn your ship up and down to look at the two-lit panels.
You know, I think this is...
Excellent. I have unlocked the door. Notice that it turned green. Bump into the door to open it.
The music is reminiscent of Descent 2, I think.
Nicely done. You do not need to turn your direction to move that way. Straight left to retrieve the power.
I have to customize these controls a little bit. But
your energy level is displayed as a yellow bar on the upper left side of your HUD. You need energy to fire many types of weapons and to use tools like your mining laser. Try to keep your energy high. Okay, now straight right to retrieve another
see, I
energy
want
power.
to... Let me see here now. I want a slight upper side. Why isn't my thing following here? I guess it's because it's a pre-release version. Okay, I want to... This is what I'm looking for. No, yeah. And then the missile, I want to make that space. Okay. So I'm trying to set this up like the DOS version that I'm used to. Because, you know, that should be fine. Yeah, that's normal. I think that's how I normally roll. There we go. Open that door. Okay, I'm going to go back to select single, I think. Practice versus trainee or hot shot? Well, I'll do trainee. There's nothing in between. I'm not hot shot yet. Be gentle with me. I know. Asteroid Burger.
3, 2, 1. Incoming hostile.
Really? Where? Oh. I thought that was the back door, the entrance.
Laser
Never
deployed.
mind.
Cooking missile.
Control is a little bit jerky. Very rapid.
Vulcan cannon. Vulcan ammo. Energy. Concussion missile. Invulnerability. Laser upgrade.
It's a pretty game. It's a pretty version of Descent. I'm looking forward to them actually releasing the game because it's very pretty.
Vulcan ammo.
Sure.
Energy.
How's it going, Metal Lord? I wish the capture card was doing a little bit better tonight, but 1080p it seems to be struggling a little bit with, so it's definitely not this jerky on the screen.
back to the desktop. I was going to kick Fraps on, even though it gave me a message earlier about Fraps possibly being a conflict with this game, but
Slot missile. Front cannon.
I've been sick the last, I don't know, 3 weeks, but still got a cough. I've been trying to mute myself tonight when I have to let out a good cough. But
Laser upgrade.
other than that, I've been collecting a few parts. This 8350, I just got this yesterday. And I got a couple other Phantoms and GTX295, which I just swapped out of this so I could play some of these DirectX 11 games. But I got a 285. I'm the SLI in my Athlon X2's 6400 system,
Slot missile.
because that's got the 285 in it already. So I gotta get another one SLI. It'll probably be completely wasted, but I might pit them against the 295 because I'd be curious to see what the performance is like. But 295 I think actually did pretty good if it wasn't limited to DirectX 10. That's its only downfall. But it did CSGO, I don't know, depending on the map. The one map I was, although everything was, I forgot to put a fan on the motherboard, so that might be why my frame rate dropped. But initially I was doing 120 to 200 in some moments frame rate in CSGO, 1080p, and another map it dropped to about half that. But I forgot to put the fan back on this thing earlier, so that might be why it dropped. Because the chipset was really hot. I got the fastest original Phantom. I think it's like 95. I can't remember what it's called. It's only 2.6 gig or so, which is interesting. The Phantom 2X4 I picked up it's a 965, and it's got the 6 meg of level 3 cache. So I'm kind of curious to see how that performs against the FX series here, but I'm not really finding any bots here. I killed one bot. I guess that was the only bot? That sucks. Okay. Well, being this is the early access version, there's really nothing to do, but it's really pretty. It's very if they ever get this game released, it'll be really really fun to play. But for right now, until they do, that's the only one that I'm aware of existing. Let me turn Fraps back on here. It's the only version that's on Steam. Well, the 8086K is a pretty that's a good chip. Expensive. It's a good thing you won that. That's pretty cool. This is more of kind of a mess around with kind of a thing. It's still got quite a bit of time to download there. I don't really want to download it if it's still going to take that long. 35 minutes. 22 megaseconds good, but yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't even think to do that. There's my soda. Let's see what this game does with a more powerful video card on this chip. Of course, it's going to look like crap with this capture card being weird tonight. Gave me a Glock 18, really? Jeez. Yeah, it definitely got a frame rate increase. 200s there. Which I think this capture card really doesn't. I want to say it's 1809. I'll have to check it. Maybe 3. I'll have to see. Wonder if the sluggishness of this capture card could be the PCI Express bus on this motherboard. It's just a cheap motherboard I'm using. This all i5. If it could be that. Yeah, I should have fired. I should have fired. Ooh. Damn it. Really? That didn't get him? Shit. Turn that on because it's not giving me my it's not giving my machine guns. There we go. The only reason I'm even running Windows 10 on this is just so that I was, if I do a video, I may do a video, a comparison video, but it would be like, you know, FX series in 2019. How does it cope? And so it seems like it would be fitting to be running Windows 10 because that would be kind of part of the 2019 world package, but. So think of this as kind of like a shakedown for testing the system. This combination, but I think 200 frames per second is pretty good. Given the, of course, this game is pretty
pretty well optimized. It's really pretty good. And I get this frame rate on my quad-core 771 chip, 4 gigahertz. It's about the same frame rate. Of course, on Ryzen 2K resolution, this card is easily up in, well, we're not down here. It tops out at close to 270. Like right now, it looks like it's topping out about just a little over 200 with this chip. With Ryzen at 2K, this is 1080p. 2K, this is I saw it hitting 270 quite often, overclocked. But this game I have spent the most time on since getting it, which was with when I built Ryzen. This was one of the first games I bought for that system. So I've got a lot of hours on this game. Relatively speaking, compared to the other games in my Steam library. You know, it's kind of funny that the driver for that 295, there's an option in there to use the to dedicate the second GPU for physics. I thought it was kind of a neat option. Don't shoot at me. Shoot at you. How about that? Splatter your blood all over the wall, teammate. And look at that. I just painted the wall with his blood and he didn't die. Cheat. The game's dang cheats. I mean, come on. Painted that wall red. It didn't die. I mean, come on. Come on. A little bit of reality here. Come on. Come on, get up there. Come on. Can you not jump carrying this big gun? Is this big gun too manly for you? Huh? Can't jump up there. Da, ba, da, 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 da. I saw that guy out of the corner of my eye too, and I was like, I'll go back and get him, but he got me first. I noticed Phil's been on a kick lately about well, he did the 260 he SLI'd. Damn it, stand still. Was it the 250? It's been on a kick with that, and then some of the Phantom stuff too. It's like, I don't know why you'd want to do the 250 because that's a pretty low-end variant. I mean, when I'm looking at doing stuff like that, I kind of look at the cost, and like the 285, I paid $10 for that card. Both of them. I mean, they're not an expensive card, and they're really, they're really pretty decent. They really work very well. And I think of out of a lot of the generations of GPUs that NVIDIA have, I don't think too many of those have died.
those seem to have actually been a pretty decently built card. There's a lot of them for sale. They're cheap, which means they're not rare. Which means there's a lot of them that haven't died. I even noticed that the 8800s have suddenly come down in price big time. Like I picked up a GTS for 15 bucks, I think it was. Which I was originally planning on doing a pair of 8800 GTSs in the Athlon X2 6400 that I built. And at that time, they were like 40 bucks a piece, and I was like, I'm not paying that. So I bought one GTX295 that I figured would be the equivalent of two 8800s. I figured it'd probably be pretty close, but I'm happy with that. That combination's actually pretty decent for what it is. I mean, the era. That wow, that's a heck of a blood splatter there. But yeah. Most of the stuff I tried tonight, other than this game and Road Redemption, they required 280. Wow, they required DirectX 11s. That's all right, you know. That's all right. It's interesting to see. I mean, the 295 is, you know, a fairly old card. But it's King Turd of the DirectX 10 cards, I guess you could say. Damn it. Of the DirectX 10 only era. I don't know if 3870 might beat it. I don't know. That's something I'll have to take a look at. But if I do that kind of comparison, I'm going to use my i7 with that probably. I was going to get a 4870X2. I'd like to collect some of the dual GPU cards. But a lot of them are... people seem to want a lot of money for them. I'd like to have a 6990 and a 7970 or 7990. Come on, whatever that, what are those two series are? They're dual GPU. But I'm gonna do a. I've got two 3870X2s. They're brand new cards. I bought them probably like 4 years ago. There's a guy unloading them on eBay for like 20 bucks a piece. Brand new OEM cards. They're just in anti-static bags, but they had all the crossfire cables and the adapters and all that. DVI to VGA adapters. Damn it. Some power adapters and whatnot. With the brand new cards, I got the big red on them. And I'm gonna now that I've got a free 1200 watt power supply, I can power two of those bad boys. So I'm gonna be cross-firing those. We'll do a quad GPU. It should be rather interesting. Because they didn't scale very well back then, so but games are a lot better with GPU scaling nowadays. Although quad GPU might be a little much to expect good results from, but I think if I can find another RX-580, I'm gonna crossfire that with the one I've got now. Find another Red Devil. That'll be kind of fun. I like the crossfire just to see what, if it's 80 or 90% nowadays. That would be pretty good. Because you're not going to get that with overclocking the card, so effectively doubling the performance pretty close to it would be kind of nice. I don't know how many games would take advantage of it, but probably more nowadays than there were, say, 10 years ago, when that was still kind of a new thing. It's been a really good card. I mean, I paid $100 for it, 110. The guy said he had a picture of it in his computer. The guy bought a brand new machine, and he just wanted to put a fatter video card in it, so he pulled it out and sold it for 110 bucks. It was a brand new card with the paperwork and CD and all that stuff. So I said, buy now, $110, buy now, because this is the 8 gig card, not the 4 gig. I said, buy now, because that's a good price for the 8 gig version. That's really actually cheap for the 8 gig version. So if I can find a second one, and there are some on there, so, but if I can find a second one for about the same price, I think might be pretty decent performance-wise for the Ryzen for right now, for under $300. I think that might be a pretty decent combination. Friend discount, yeah. Gotta love that friend discount. I like the red lit up Red Devil. That was I was saying earlier in the chat or on the stream that that was one of the things that disappointed me about the Vega 64, was that it didn't light up. I know that's just kind of a gimmicky thing, but you know, the Vega 64, $500 card. It's considered a premium, you know, graphics card, and it doesn't have that advertising that other like this 980. This 980 lights up. This EVGA 980 lights up. The EVG, the brag logo, I guess you call it. But here's a budget card, the RX 580, and it does. That's just like, really? How did Gigabyte miss that? I don't know. $500 video card, and they missed some bling. They missed the bling. I don't understand why, but because it's just, I mean I understand the glow's just kind of a gimmicky thing. It's just, you know, not everybody likes RGB, so not everybody's going to want to light on their video card. I understand it, but it's just kind of the modern world where the premium, that's just kind of a thing that the high-end, top-tier cards typically came with. And but you know, it's funny. I pulled that card out for the last time when I took pictures of it to, oh shit, damn it, when I took pictures of it to post it on eBay, and then I put it back in the system so I could, you know, still use it until it sold. And someone was shooting at me, damn it. And I had all the problems shutting down. The screen just goes black. The fans go woo, and that's it. Got to power down the system, power it back up. It works fine. And it's funny because it would do it even when I was just watching a YouTube video. It had nothing to do with necessarily gaming. It was, you could just be sitting there watching a YouTube video and boop, there it goes. So anyway, I had pulled it out of the system for the last time to take pictures of it, and I put it back in the system. I swear to God, I did not have a problem with that card the entire time from when I listed it and to when I boxed it and shipped it. I had no problems with it. I found that so funny. It's like, what is this card trying to change my mind all of a sudden so I don't actually sell it? You know, it's like, I pulled that card several times thinking it might have been maybe a bad connection on the slot, maybe something with the power connector. I re-slathered the heat sink with Cryonaut, thinking that I could maybe get a little better temperatures out of it, but it was heat related for some reason, even though it happened when I was just sitting there watching a YouTube video. But those last 4 days that I had it, it worked flawlessly for several hours. But then again, it had pulled that crap before too. I had put this Kingwin back in that system, and I thought that that had fixed it because it hadn't acted up for like 3 days solid. YouTube and CS:GO and the combination of in and out, and I'm gonna do a different map here. And it was, I don't know, it's weird because it would, different driver versions. I put up with it for a while because I thought maybe it was a driver bug or something, but it didn't, never did change anything. So, but the guy that bought the card, he was trying to run the card with a 650 watt power supply. And he's like, this card doesn't work, my system just crashes. I'm like, dude, you're running way too weak of a power supply. Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. He got an 850 watt power supply, works just fine. Well, I didn't get it returned to me, so I guess it works for him. I don't know what system he was running. What if he was running Intel or if he was running Ryzen like I was, but so I don't know. I mean, I never really thought the card itself was bad because it was just so random when it would happen, but I kind of chalked it up to maybe an incompatibility between it and the motherboard for some reason. I don't know why. I don't really have any explanation as to why. Although, when I had Googled that problem with that particular card, a lot of people that had that problem were on Ryzen and had a Corsair power supply like I have, which I thought was an interesting coincidence. But so that's why I was kind of glad to get out of that card. And you know, I have $400. Maybe I think it sold for 400. You know, which eBay takes 10%. So I got 360. So, you know, I mean, I spent, I think it was when I bought that card, it was on sale for, I think Newegg had it for $489. I think it was $469, somewhere around in there, and it came with a bunch of free games. So, but I don't know. Couldn't really prove that there was something wrong with it. It might have had a flaky voltage regulator. I always kind of thought that, but I couldn't really find a way to prove it because it's weird because it was actually more likely when it would go black and the fans would go full speed, it happened more often when I was watching YouTube videos. It was just really weird. I could sit here and game like I'm doing right now. Oh shit. For 3 hours straight and not have a problem. And as soon as I get out of the game and watch a YouTube video, bam. 10 minutes into it, bam. But then again, I did have certain times when it did go black on a game. So, I mean, it happened whether it was under stress or not. And watching a YouTube video at the desktop, when I was using the hardware monitor, it was running like 50 megahertz. I mean, it was running as fast as a 486. You know, it was so under stressed. I don't know. It was weird. There wasn't an amount of stress that I could place on the card to make it break. So I didn't really know of a way to, because I would think if it was a flaky voltage regulator that putting it under stress would make it go, but I don't know. It's just weird. As far as I know, it's working for the guy that bought it, so, and he was happy once he got a power supply that was capable of feeding the card, and that's a thirsty card. The amperage that card wants is pretty healthy. There's some weird things people said about one of the things about that card is that it can actually, what I've read is that it can actually hit the 12-volt rail with 40 amps like that for a split second, and then that's why a lot of people, if you're running a multi-rail power supply, you gotta, because that card has 2 power connectors, so you want each power connector to be on its own rail with that particular card. Oh shit, I thought that was one of the enemies there, but that's alright. But I was running in single rail mode, so I didn't have that problem. But it was there's a lot of interesting things I read about the Ryzen, but I mean not Ryzen, Vega, but I decided to get out of it while it still had most of its value. You know, like the 980s, I mean, people were still paying $500 for these cards just 2 years ago, and now 150 to go for, which is actually a very good price. This card, this EVGA card, I mean, I can get the performance, overclock this card 200 megahertz. I'm in Vega territory. It's with these games, I was getting the same or faster frame rate with this card overclocked as I was getting with the Vega 64. So I was like, well, there's no reason for me to keep the Vega. I mean, but I think if I end up deciding to pop for a 1660 Ti, I'll probably buy an EVGA one, simply because I like their utility for overclocking the cards, controlling the fan. I really like that utility. It only works on EVGA cards, so if the 1660 is probably the only card, NVIDIA card right now that I would get. Yeah, but what I read is that the ray tracing is pointless right now. Everybody says that the 1660 is where it's at right now. don't know. But like I said, I think I'll try a second. I'll try crossfiring another Red Devil and see how that works. Because if it's even, if it's in the realm of, I don't know, say 75 to 90% increase, I think it would be worth it for $120. I think it would be a good cheap way to get a boosted. Because that 580, there are, like in GTA 5, there is some areas where it drops to like 50, 40 frames per second for a second, for a little bit. Now, remember, I'm running at 2K, so 2K resolution, so it's obviously going to be pushing a little bit there, but GTA 5 performance is really not great on that card. Even overclocked, it's the 980's definitely got it beat on that. That guy saw me, he's like, oh, wait a minute. User. A user. I swear, sometimes I watch these guys, these bots, and they see come around the corner, and it's like they pause for a second, like they're just shitting themselves because they know that the user has arrived. Damn it, he moved. I want this gun. Really? Oh, I got my favorite gun though. Okay. I hardly ever get this gun. I hate that. I'm not really very good on this map, although I look like I'm actually pretty well far in the lead there.
Terrorists win.
Wow. I think I'm going to, let's I'll do Road Redemption, one or two more maps, and I think I'm gonna call it a night because we've been on for 3 hours now. It's funny how time just flies when you're streaming. I would do Doom, but I don't want to wait a half hour to download it, so I'd like to I'm gonna do a live stream off of Verizon sometime. I just haven't decided if I'm gonna do OBS directly off of that, which it has plenty of CPU to do that, but or if I want to capture it. I got a HDMI splitter just for the purpose of capturing that system with my laptop instead of making it have to process the video, but it's got so much CPU that's not being utilized. I don't think it'd be a problem. I don't think it'd be a hit in performance if I did do that. Oh yeah, I did hear that was changing. Yeah, see, so 295 was doing just a little over 30 FPS, and this card we're doing 75, 80 on the same processor. So I'd say the FX has, and actually I'm running this card, this chip 200 megahertz lower too, because I didn't go into the BIOS and set it to 4.2 like I was running earlier, or I had to reset the BIOS to get it turned back on. Shit. Where's number one? I gotta pay him a visit. Damn it. This bike doesn't turn very well. You think you're number one, huh? Damn it. Really? Bye-bye, baby. And this game is being played, controlled, I should say, as all games have tonight, with an old beige compact keyboard that doesn't even have a Windows key. That's right. Probably 1990, I don't know, 4? It doesn't have a Windows key? 1995? 96 maybe? Actually feels pretty good for gaming, I have to say. Feels good in the hands, ladies. That's plus that Carter says. Feels good in the hands, ladies. Think you're gonna try to pass me, huh? Nope. Get my machete out in a minute here. Say I think the game does look a little bit better this card than 295. Just that DirectX generation difference there, but second place. Just knocked him off his bike. Slow motion. It's membrane, but it, well. Where am I at? Compact. No Windows key. This has got some weight to it, too. It's kind of one of those keyboards that it's a membrane. You can tell it's membrane, but it's it kind of feels mechanical, I guess. Of hearts off with the head. Come on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, this is about the frame rate that GTA 2K is at. About the same. Oh, we hit the top. Look at that. Oh, jeez. Chicken. Fourth place. So there is some vintage tech being used tonight. Even if it's just a keyboard, it is, at least there's something. Alright, let's take this path here. Which really isn't a shortcut. See Linus Tech Tips use this keyboard on any modern system. Never will. I don't think he has a beige keyboard anywhere in his complex. He'd probably try to RGB it if he did. So. RGBing a server room, I can't get over that. That was some funny stuff. I got a kick out of Linus. One video, vintage computer, when Windows 98 bought a Dell 19.3, I think it was. Really? I got all kinds of views too. Like, really? Damn truck. Okay, I need more turbo boost. I'm out of fuel. Oh crap. Really? Yeah, this level sucks because of these trucks. That guy you can't get around, the guy with the shield thing, ain't a happening. Ooh, maybe you can. I didn't think you... Swing that pipe. Come on. You're not getting first. No, you are not. Gotta get out of there. Otherwise, I'm gonna get knocked off that. This bike sucks. Come on. This feels like a game that would be perfect in an arcade. Really? Shit. I got my ear itching. Oh. So gonna lose now. Don't have any fuel. I'm gonna have to club some people. Knocked off. Let's try this one more time. I'm out of nitrous, or whatever that is. Tase me, bro. Don't tase me, bro. Ooh. Have some trucks. Ooh, that was close. I am third. Oh, come on. Bye-bye, baby. If I don't wreck, shit. Say if I don't wreck, I'm gonna win, but well, third is still better than fourth. But alright. I don't know what modern arcades even look like. The only arcades that have around here are stuff that was around in the late 90s. Dirt Rally should run now, actually. Yeah, I know in some towns, including mine, that arcade places, arcade machines actually are kind of, sort of making a comeback. There's like one place downtown that has a well, yeah, you see, you know, Movietron. You know, you walk in and the whole place is full of arcade machines. We got a place like that downtown. It's like they got like every arcade machine that was ever made, or something like that. It's pretty crazy. There's I've seen Teddy Rubskin do videos on one that's around where he lives too. Set up a new sure. This is a new computer. Well, I paid for the game, so I mean, come on. That I don't know. Where's the mouse at? I don't see the moose. Okay. Escape doesn't work. Enter doesn't work. I have no mouse. What the kind of crap is this? Oh. Son of a bitch. Player 1, really. How about we just... something like that. Oh. They only have male and female as a gender. That is sexist nowadays. Should have all 180 whatever the fuck it is. It's stupid crap. Yeah. Gotta clear my lungs. Okay, automatic for the people. Let's just get to it here. Can I do just a rally? Sure. I just want to. That's kind of cool. I like the car models in this game. It's very sexy. Very nice. Kicker. Boom, 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 boom. There's a Subaru. A Subi. A Subi. Let's see here. Hyundai. Well, they must have paid a fortune in royalty fees. It's a pretty game. We'll give it that. A lot of people like this game. This is the first time I've actually... Oh. So to say this is the first time I've ever played it, but that would be a lie because it just kicked out. Really? Oh crap! I'm getting tired here. 400 frames. Let's try this again. Kind of nice. It saves your. Well, that sucks. A big fat one. I mean, big fat one. It's like, what version is this? That 2019. It's not an old version of. You think it's game mode? I need to turn this off back here. Oh, he's done streaming anyway. Is everybody... Well, he's on. Oh, English Bob is on. He must be doing his truck simulator. I'm kind of curious here. Let's just see. Yep. Trucking on Linux. This keyboard, I swear. That's weird. I don't know what's up with this keyboard. It's a mechanical keyboard, and you know what? I'm gonna have some Orville If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna have a little Orville playing in the background. Oh, I found it interesting, and I'm gonna have to check if this actually is the case. But before YouTube went to the whole you have to have like 1,000 subs and some odd number of hours before you can get monetize your account thing, you know. I had created a channel, or renamed a channel, for ambient stuff, because I saw that ambient stuff was popular. I thought maybe I'd just throw something stupid up there to see if anybody would watch it. And I monetized it at that time. This was before all that stuff changed. And I assumed that it was demonetized after the change, but it almost looked like the might have been grandfathered, because I noticed that it was still monetized. I hadn't checked it for like a year and a half. I hadn't checked it since they made that change, whatever that was. And so I was kind of surprised that it was still monetized, because I've got like 15 subs. But anyway, I'm like, well, if it is still monetized, then I'll have to check. I'll have to see it, because it still has the account is still associated with it. But anyway, what I'm thinking of doing is, because of YouTube's stupid copyright stuff with music, they're really anal retentive. I mean, the 30-second rule doesn't really seem to apply anymore. Fair use is if the copyright holder agrees to release their thing. I don't know. It's a bunch of bots taking over the YouTube world. But I was thinking about, I've got another channel that's not, and it's not monetized. I was thinking of, anyway, I'm thinking of making a burner account that I just stream to. So if it gets shut down by YouTube or something like that, I don't really care. Turn all this shit off too. Broadcast. Well, it just says learn about it. It doesn't come on, there we go. $41701. This is just what Windows 10 downloaded. Yeah, well, that's 1803. Yeah. Must not have updated this one to 9. I don't really like 9. I wonder if it has anything to do with having the capture card plugged in. I don't know. Huh. Look at that. That's a, that looks like, you know, that looks like, sort of. This is a 7950 I just picked up. That looks like a 7800? 79. It's just kind of funny for them to use a vintage, I don't know if that's really vintage, old video card. So that's kind of funny. Use that picture. That's, I kind of like when they do stuff like that. You think that's a 6800? I don't know, they all look about the same. I don't know. In that era, they. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's kind of funny. There actually is. I'm going to show you this. If it still is in here, I'll see. There is still the color palette from, I don't know, Windows 3.1 or 95, somewhere in there, in Windows 10, if you can believe that. After all these years, if you go to the, let's see if it is still in here. If you go to screensavers, let me see which, I'm not sure which one it was. Yeah, right there. Isn't that funny? Windows 10 still uses that color, that Windows 95, Windows 3.195 color palette chooser for this screensaver. Isn't that funny? Out of all these years. Have anything else turned on? That would I forgot to turn off. Let me just look real quick. I ran the Windows tweak utility to turn off a bunch of crap long time ago. I thought I had Windows activated on this thing, but I guess not. I don't know. What they say is the current latest. So cool. Wish it really looked like that. That would be pretty sweet. I thought they'd have a driver link there, but I guess not. Oh sure, let's go for the 2080. Sure. And 900. Wouldn't matter. It's the same driver, but. 41935. Well, they just released that. Holy crap. 5 days ago. What do I have again here? $1701. That's the one that Windows 10 thought was a. Wow, that's okay. It's going back to last year. Okay. Well, maybe there's a bug in it. I don't know. Maybe there's a bug. 500 meg for a driver. I mean, I realize in the era of multi-terabyte hard drives, 500 meg is nothing, but from the era of 500 meg was an entire hard drive, 500 meg seems like a lot to me for a damn driver. And I guess I can close that. Come on, Windows 10, respond to the master, please.
Oh, maybe that's where it pulled it from, because I already had that downloaded. That's why. If this doesn't fix it, I'm going to probably call it a night, guys. I'm getting kind of tired. Gonna lose an hour tomorrow too. I hate time change stuff. I wish they would do away with that. Just pick one and stick with it. Check faster, please. I have to fix that fan in that computer. I've replaced that RAM in that earlier to get this all working again, and I guess the fan fell over or something, because it's vibrating on the case. It's annoying. I gotta fix that. Well, this is taking its sweet time. I don't care about the GeForce experience. Sure. Battlefield 5. Get up to 3 games. It's kind of funny how they're going back to what they used to do back in the late 90s. You buy a video card and you get a bunch of games with it. Of course, back then they were on CDs and they were included in the box, but now everything is downloads. So, but Battlefield, I don't know. Battlefield 5 would probably be a pretty good game. I don't know about the other two. I wonder what kind of computer Neo would have if the Matrix was now. What kind of computer would he have? You know, that movie isn't that movie 20 years old now? 'Cause didn't that come out in 99? I think Matrix came out in 99. Next year it'll be old enough to drink. What kind of computer would Neo have? See, I'm thinking something like that. Something green, something Matrix-y he would have. This is an SSD. I'm surprised that it's taking this long. There we go. Falcon Northwest. Well, if they were sponsoring the movie in somewhat, yeah. Falcon Northwest, well.
for some reason, I just see it as an Alienware because it's just, you know, just because Alienware was in Big Bang Theory. It just, like, that just seems like that's, if it's not Apple, they think Dell, these producers or directors, writers or whatever. And so, I don't know. Falcon Northwest, that'd be better than Alienware for sure. Pretty intro. RaceNet. I have to try this on my Ryzen. I'm curious. Yeah. Headshot. I was gonna put. I'd have to hook up a DVD drive. I thought about putting UT on here. I don't even know where the disc is. I've got that in another. If it's still in one of my DVD drives, it might be in that computer down there. I've got another. I got a socket 939 that was returned to me. Returned as in I sold it in a guy's computer to upgrade his system years ago, and he gave it back because he's upgraded since then, and plus the power supply is blown in it. Brand new power supply blew. I don't know. No dust on the fan, so it obviously wasn't used for very long after I built the system for it. Anyway, it's my personal motherboard. I sold it to work, which in turn sold to them, so I made money on the board, and then I got the board back a few years later. It's just kind of funny. But anyway, what's unique about that is that it's an Enforce board, Enforce 4 SLI. With the it has the little card that you have to remove. It's an 8-bit motherboard. It's orange, reddish orange colored PCB. I think I've got a 4600 in it right now because that's the fastest 939 chip that I have. It's actually what was in it. But I had originally put when I gave it to him, it had I put a 6800 in it. A non anything, just a plain 6800, and didn't even have a power plug on it. So it's kind of fun to get that system back, and I'll do something video related with it, I am sure. Since it's a early SLI, I think it will be interesting. Essentially first gen PCI Express SLI and all that stuff. It'd be kind of interesting to see how it performs with, say, a pair of 8800 GTSs or 7900s or something like that. But I don't know. I got another HP system. It's one of those Elite Pavilion Elite nonsense things, but it's came with 10 gig of RAM
And the memory configuration, it had 4 slots on the motherboard. So you would think, okay, 2 4s and 2 1s or something like that. No, it 2 4s and 1 2. This way it came from HP. Yeah, it's an FX-6100, and I put a new power supply in it years ago. It's got a thermal take modular power supply. It's pretty nice. It's probably an 800 watt. I haven't looked, but that'll probably end up getting parted out because it's got good. I want the FX chip out of it. I think what I'll do is I will do kind of like maybe a live stream with it. Be like, you know, how much does gaming suck on a original from the factory pavilion or something like that. And then once I'm done with my little fun with that, I think I'll part it out. 10 gig, you know, 8 gig of RAM DDR3 is still usable. And the 8-bit board, that is a rare board. I thought I sold that board, and at one time I was looking for that same board, and I couldn't find one. But then this system, it's a similar case to what I built the Athlon XP in, just a little bit smaller, shorter version, but that's the case it is in. Antec, I think it's an Antec case. Yeah, it says Antec on the front. Oh, and it's heavy. Made of real sheet metal. But, well, I am going to call it a night here, guys. Since this doesn't want to run Dirt Rally, I don't really feel like playing anything else. I think this little shakedown test is actually pretty good. Let's see how far I can overclock this. I've got a 240 rad. But I'm going to put on here. So I think this is pretty much at its limit at stock speeds. This single rad thing. Which mouse is it here? Why won't that switch? Yeah, the single rad thing right I got right here, just hanging off of the board. Woo! That's good, right? That won't cause any problems, right? Actually, it hasn't. I like the Cooler Master lights up. That's kind of neat. And of course, the GTX290 lit up right there. But things that the Ryzen didn't have. But anyway, I'll probably do a stream from or not Ryzen, Vegas. That's why I keep getting those two confused. I'm gonna do a stream from Ryzen. Probably pretty soon. Do some gaming on Ryzen. I just gotta decide if I'm gonna do a laptop is gonna do the stream or if I'm gonna do OBS. I've already got set up on a laptop to do the streaming, so it'd just be easy to plug an HDMI cable and go. But anyway. Thank you guys that are still here watching. Thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight and giving this little concoction a test. Say, I guess it didn't blow up. That's a good thing. Anyway, I'll see you guys later, and I don't know when that will be, but anyway, I'm gonna go have a beer probably and relax and then go to bed. So thank you guys again. Peace out. We'll see you again. Alright, thanks. Which mouse am I clicking? I will, hopefully I'll figure something out with the capture stuff. I just can't ever seem to get it to work right. I don't know why it never wants to cooperate. Maybe it's the motherboard. I'm not really sure. But anyway, peace. And I've got the mount wrong. I've got two mice right here. Anyway, now I got the right one. See you guys later.